Hello, my name is Cora Carter and I am a Purdue University Extension educator in Bartholomew County, and today we're going to do an experiment with red cabbage. Today you're going to need the red cabbage, large saucepan, some water, some clear jars for testing, and some substances you'd like to test for their pH. The first step is you would need to finely chop some red cabbage. You'll need about 4 cups. Next, you'll need to get started with boiling some water. You'll want about 4 or 5 cups of water. Once your water is boiling, you'll pour the water over your chopped cabbage. Make sure you use a heat-safe container to do this, and a heat-safe surface. After you've poured in your boiling water, you're going to let that boiling water set for 15 minutes with your cabbage. Finally, you'll strain your cabbage pieces out of the indicator solution by pouring through a colander or some sort of mesh. You could also use some cheesecloth if you desire. Then you'll take a little bit of indicator solution to place in each of your glass jars. We're going to see what different substances are going to do based upon using the red cabbage indicator to determine whether they're acids or bases. So this is a cup of vinegar over here, so I'm going to add just a few drops to the red cabbage solution. And you can see that the red cabbage solution turned a vibrant pink, which means that that is an acid, and that's true. Vinegar is a type of acid. Now we're going to do a little bit of baking soda in this one. I made the baking soda into a little bit of a liquid, kind of, so that we can put a few drops in there. And you can see that that turned the solution a bright blue. You can see the difference between that one and this one that hasn't had anything put into it yet. Now we're going to try some dish soap. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops of dish soap in there and then swirl that around. And it's kind of hard to see, but it did turn a little bit less of the strong blue color. And so a dish soap is not a very strong base, but it's a little bit of a base. So there was a little bit of a reaction there, but it is still kind of hard to tell. And now I'm going to try some lemon juice. It doesn't take very many drops, and that just turns like a very bright pink. That's a very strong acid. And then what are we going to do next? Let's do some milk next. Just going to put a little bit of milk in there. I changed the color of the water a little bit because milk isn't clear, but you can see that it's a light blue color, so that's indicative that blue is a little bit of a base. Then we have some Worcestershire sauce. I'm not really sure what color this is going to turn, so we're going to find out together. Well, look at that. The Worcestershire sauce is an acid. You can see that it turned the reagent solution a bright pink. And then we have some hot sauce. We're going to find out what that does here. Just a couple of drops in there. swirl it around. You can see that that turned a little bit of a pink, so it's not a very, very strong acid, but it is an acid. And then finally, I want to do a little bit of an experiment. Something we do in agriculture is we want to know whether our soil has a good pH for the plants that we grow. And some of our plants prefer a really neutral pH, which is 7, and some of our plants prefer a little bit one direction or the other, a little bit acidic or a little bit basic. And so it's important for us to know the pH of our soils, especially because some of our plants would prefer it one way or another, and we need to be able to change that so that our plants are happy. So I've taken some of my own soil, some from just outside, and I did the same thing I did with the baking soda. I turned it into a little bit of a liquid, so I've got a little bit of a mud milkshake here. And I'm going to see if we can tell with this test what the pH is of the soil. Usually we use a laboratory or some other type of device to find out what the pH is of our soil, but we're going to see if this works. Kind of turned a little bit of a muddy color, but I think it went a little bit less blue than the bright blue that it started out with. So I think maybe it's a little bit on the basic side of the scale, not quite a acid, but more of a base. You can see compared to the baking soda that it's a little bit like that. So maybe my soil is a little bit on the basic side.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you learned a little bit. Be sure to try this at home and share your photos on social media with the hashtag #SummerLearning. And be sure to follow us on Facebook. Thank you.